Hello again and welcome to TVC News. This hour, we begin with the rising insecurity in the country amid efforts to bring the situation under control. Well, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has now ordered the deployment of watertight security arrangements to cover all schools, hospitals, health workers, and critical national infrastructure across the country. The IGP also ordered regular patrols, stop and search, as well as raids and a show of force by tactical commanders to clamp down on pockets of crime and criminality recorded in parts of the Federation. He gave this directive while reviewing the general security situation of the nation via reports from commands and formations across the country. The IGP tasked strategic police managers at various levels to prioritize the use of intelligence gathering networks to locate criminal hideouts and flush them out before they strike. Now, troops of Operation Hidden Kai in the northeast have rescued another Chibok girl and 3 others in Borno State. In a statement by the Nigerian Army on its Facebook page, the Chibok schoolgirl was rescued with her 4-year-old child at Bama local government area, while the 3 others were rescued at Mongono local government. President of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, Salamatu Yahaya, donated relief materials and financial support to the rescued victims. The General Officer commanding 7 Division Major General Waidi Shuaibu disclosed that 2 of the girls were abducted this year, while a 12-year-old was in captivity since she was an infant. In April 2014, Boko Haram terrorists kidnapped 276 female students from the government girls' secondary school in Chibok, Borno State. Now to Adamawa State, where the police command has arrested 28 suspects for different crimes. And those arrested during the sting operations include suspected kidnappers, informants, rapists, and a 58-year-old woman who was said to have killed her husband's female friend. Correspondent Owolabi Adenusi compiled this report.
The rising cases of kidnapping and other lawless activities have been of concern to relevant security agencies in Adamawa State. The police have been tirelessly working to bring to book those behind various crimes in the state. Now its efforts are now yielding targeted results as kingpins of kidnappers terrorizing several communities in the state have been arrested. An AK-47, a pistol and a laptop computer were found in their possession.
I am glad this morning to let you know that with the support of the government and people of Adamawa State, commitment of our divisional police officers, the area commanders, the tactical teams that we have, the command has succeeded in removing 38 unworthy persons from our space. Most of these people are engaged in cases of kidnapping, armed robbery, rape, homicide, and Sheila activities.
A middle-aged woman who allegedly killed her husband's lover was among those paraded. The commissioner solicited support from community leaders and the general public to rid the state of criminal elements.
We have 2 persons who are employed as security guards to a family, and these security guards are in turn started giving information to their contemporaries who are kidnappers, and that is how those people were able to pick their victims.
At the end of the event, 11 newly promoted police officers elevated to the rank of superintendent for their diligent service were decorated by the Commissioner of Police.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has uncovered At least 442 parcels of crystal meth concealed in heads of fish packed in cartons for exports to Dubai through the Sako shed of the Lagos International Airport. The 11.90 kilogram consignment was brought in by a freight agent from Kogi State who was arrested upon the discovery that the 7 cartons he presented for export contained parcels of the dangerous drugs. According to spokesman of the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, another consignment containing 1.45 kilograms of cannabis was also intercepted by the agency's operatives. Also, a 50-year-old was arrested in Enugu State for allegedly ingesting 77 pellets of cocaine. The Nigerian customs generated 1.292 trillion naira in revenue into the Federation account. This from January this year to June. And this figure is higher than the amounts generated within the same period last year by 28.8%. TVC News' Lara Afolayan has more.
The Nigerian customs was given a revenue target of over 3 trillion naira this year, an amount higher than last year's figure by about 81%. Despite this tall order, the agency says 1.292 trillion naira has been raked into the Federation account in the first half of this year. This is in spite of lower pre-arrival assessment reports issuance seen compared to the same period last year. It adds that above 156 billion has been generated into the non-Federation account as collections made on behalf of other agencies.
Between January and June 2022, we have been able to generate the sum of 1,292,904,201,376 naira 89 kobo into the Federation account, as against the sum of 1,3billion,540,084,590 naira 16 kobo for the corresponding period in 2021.
On excise duties, over 68 billion naira was collected from beer, spirits and other alcoholic beverage manufacturers from January to June. It also made collections in line with the newly added provisions under Schedule 5 of the Common External Tariff from extant traders producing carbonated sugary drinks in June to the tune of 1 billion naira. Revenue from telecommunications and digital networks are yet to be collected as modalities have not been put in place.
A total of 68 billion 15 million 808,146 naira and 61 kobo was collected from manufacturers of beer, spirits and other alcoholic beverages.
Smuggled goods worth 39.1 billion naira were also seized due to policy and regulatory infringements. Narcotics and other illicit drugs, foreign parboiled rice, dangerous pharmaceuticals, petroleum products as well as cars constituted seizures made. 7 persons were arrested in violation of the Anti-Money Laundering Act, while 12 foreign and local suspects were arrested for illegal trafficking of endangered species. Lara Folayo, TVC News, Abuja.
Residents of Jigawa State have been forced to take refuge in temporary camps as well as other places, including government facilities. This comes as floods have ravaged parts of the state. The Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Sani Yusuf, confirmed that 50 persons died and many others were displaced in the incident. Some of the victims are from Balangu village, where no fewer than 237 houses were destroyed, while 4 persons were killed. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadiya Umar, visited the state to distribute relief materials alongside the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mustafa Habib. Now, residents of Niger State are mandated to have a health insurance scheme to access healthcare services in the state, but only 40 residents have enrolled under the Niger State Contributory Health Scheme. TVC News' Chinemi Bamiyi tells us why.
Statistics show that 8 out of 10 Nigerians do not have a health insurance scheme. This is a major hindrance to Nigeria's journey towards universal health coverage. In Niger State, the government established the Niger State Contributory Health Scheme, NICARE, to reduce the huge out-of-pocket spending for health services for all residents. The bill establishing the agency and the scheme was passed into law in December 2018 and assented by Governor Bello in January 2019, making it compulsory for every resident to belong to a health insurance scheme to access healthcare in the state. With the bill, every civil servant in the state and local government employee is expected to contribute 2.5% of his basic salary, while those in the informal sector would make monthly contributions of 600 naira each. The goal of the NICARE is to ensure that all residents, especially the poor and vulnerable, have access to health services without any financial barriers. While receiving reports of the performance of the scheme at the State Executive Council meeting, Governor Sani Bello expressed dissatisfaction over the low level of enrollment, blaming it on low sensitization.
In our next meeting, let's get those figures. Number of people that have enrolled, local government, and number of people that have accessed services. And you need to publicize it. You need to publicize it because the health insurance scheme is something new here. And abroad it's almost mandatory for everyone, but here it is new. So I believe when people enjoy the benefits, more and more people will register.
A visit to the Mina General Hospital confirms that most Nigerians are not aware of this scheme or the method of enrollment.
I'm not a part of it, and I've not heard of it, actually. Yes, because I think if there's a contributory scheme like that, there should have been a lot of awareness, especially in the rural areas, because I'm coming all the way from Gidamangoro to this place to access healthcare services. So, and there's a primary healthcare there. You'd expect that people would have known of something like that at that level. Not even here in the town center.
I think it was last year I heard something like that. We thought they are going to implement it, but I'm a state civil servant. We thought they were going to implement it, but up to now, in my place of work, I've not heard anything about it. So we are still waiting and hoping that they will bring it forth.
I'm not here about that. I'm not here about it about now. But you can able to let me know about the healthcare about it so that I can able to put my contribution there.
While they expressed dissatisfaction over how they are attended to at the hospital, they expressed willingness to be a part of the health insurance scheme.
The problem with this hospital, the doctor don't used to come early. We'll be here early in the morning to collect card, but they will not be here early. And gaskiya, the thing is affecting us, gaskiya, because many people are here and some of them have gone because of the doctor are not here.
Why not? If made available, I wouldn't mind. Because of course, health is wealth. And of course, if wealth comes at a cheaper price, I wouldn't mind getting it.
The Niger State Ministry of Health says currently about 40,000 people have enrolled in the scheme, which is less than 10% of the population, a figure they hope to increase with more awareness.
It's a continuous thing. And I want to tell you, Nigeria is up and down. You can talk today to somebody. Tomorrow, that person will tell you, I've never heard about insurance. That is the behavior of people. Behavior change takes time. Where I need to continue.
Governor Bello acknowledges that the whole scheme is relatively new to the people, unlike elsewhere in the world where it is fully operational and even mandatory. He is optimistic that when people begin to enjoy the benefits of the scheme, more people will register.
Right here at the Mina General Hospital, a lot of the patients either do not know about this scheme or have little information about its operation. They say if they are able to access this scheme at the primary healthcare level, they wouldn't have to come here to access medical care facilities. Cheneme Bameyi, TVC News, Mina.
As the North Central Agenda in alliance with the Southwest Agenda for Ashwaju has held a mobilization rally in Kogi State. Now, the event aims to persuade and convince registered voters in the North Central to support the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu. We have details in this report.
The Southwest agenda for Asiwaju is in Kogi State again, to meet with supporters of APC presidential candidate and also encourage more people to jump on the bandwagon and support a candidate they believe knows how to govern and administer the affairs of Nigeria in its diversity. They first visited the palace of the Ohinohi of Ibira land, His Royal Majesty Alhaji Ado Ibrahim. The revered paramount ruler has always openly declared his support for Bola Tinubu and his belief in the capacity of APC's presidential candidate to improve Nigeria's economic fortunes and bring unprecedented developments to the country. This sensitization rally is an alliance between the North Central agenda for Asiwaju and Swagger in the Southwest to gauge the popularity and acceptability of the APC presidential candidate in the North Central and among young people. They say the turnout is a confirmation that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is the most favored presidential candidate in the country.
We are very much impressed with the turnout. We have earlier met with the traditional ruler who gave us his blessings, and you can see the joy and the enthusiasm of the people. They are all rooting for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu because they know that is the one that will turn things around for good in Nigeria. From what I've seen here, the people are going to vote massively for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. They are persuaded, they are convinced that he's the right man for this moment. So we are happy about it, about the turnout and the joy and enthusiasm of the people that we have seen today.
Registered voters are already identifying with Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima. They are also learning about the plans, programs and policies his administration will bring on board if elected. But Swagger insists Bola Tinubu is the most trusted and reliable at a time when Nigeria is going through a series of challenges and in need of a leader that has a track record of excellence.
We've come to the youth, we've come to the women to appeal to them, to talk to them, to go into door by door, talking to the people, neighbor by neighbor, so that we can get the actual votes when the time comes for Asiwaju. You can also see the turnout yourself, massive and impressive. And by God's grace, this will be a win-win situation here for Asiwaju. You heard what the king said when we went to his palace, the Oni Inoyi of Okene land. He spoke very well and he said he's in total support for Asiwaju.
I want our youth, our Kogi State youth, to know that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is the only person that can give us a good template that we youth can come and start. We want him to come and change Nigeria for the next 8 years, so that after the 8 years, we are good to go.
The North Central agenda for Asiwaju will take this campaign to the nooks and crannies of the geopolitical zone to ensure registered voters are persuaded and convinced to vote for the presidential candidate of the APC.
And still talking preparations for the 2023 general election, a sensitization program has been organized for women, this time in Kano local government area of Nasarawa State. Now, this is in a bid to ensure that a greater number of women participate in the forthcoming election, as well as resist voter apathy in the society. Correspondent Adamawa reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission had on the 31st of July announced the end of voters' registration ahead of the 2023 election. The Commission said it would deploy over 200,000 bimodal voter accreditation system for the elections. In Kano local government, a suburb of the Federal Capital Territory, a women's group is advocating and sensitizing women in rural areas. The Sakari of Karo Kingdom expresses worry about the present state of the country. He believes things can change by getting it right in the next election.
In fact, I feel so much worried that Nigeria, which I know when I was coming as a child, I witnessed Odoji. Nigeria had enough of money and they didn't know how to spend it. Naira value was more than dollars. But today, Naira value is 700 and something 100 per dollar. When we go, how will it be with our children?
The role of women and youths in election cannot be neglected as they have the highest voting strength, especially here in Nigeria. It is why grassroots awareness and mobilization of women such as this has commenced.
We are advocating for Tinubu and Shatima. We want these women to vote rights. So that is why we are here, to sensitize them to go and get their PVCs and vote for the right candidate, which is Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shatima.
To make sure those that have registered and have not collected their PVCs, not to relent, this is not the end, instead to make sure they have gone and collect the PVC, and also to make them understand Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the only person that will move Nigeria to the next level.
According to INEC's report, at the end of the exercise, a total of 12.29 million registrations had been completed. This means that over 12 million new eligible voters have been added to the country's voters list, which stood at 84 million in 2019. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
Finally, at this time, the federal government has promised that the Kano to Dai dual carriageway will soon be completed. The Minister of State for Works and Housing, Umar El Yakub, stated this during an inspection visit to the site. TVC News Kano correspondent Ibrahim Issa has more.
The Kano Dai single carriageway has been in poor condition for many years, claiming lives and property. The federal government awarded a contract for road dualization to alleviate the suffering of road users. So far, the 83.52-kilometer dual carriageway has been cleared, with earthwork filling and asphaltic binder coats applied. Minister of State for Works and Housing, Umar El Yakub, during inspection of the road, expressed satisfaction with the pace of work and promised the project's timely completion.
Communities have benefited already, and they are going to keep benefiting from the fact that this road is being constructed. Aside from, of course, what it does in terms of, giving free access and free flow of traffic, it shortens the time for travel, which also has an implication on the economy.
The road contract was awarded in December 2020 with a 24-month completion period. The minister was also present at the 26.6-kilometer Kano Western Bypass, where he urged the contracting firm to finish the project by the end of 2022. The state minister inspected 76 housing units built under the federal government's national housing program in Jaba, Panisau. Ibrahim Issa, TVC News, Kano.